closer, and today we are playing FS19 on Oakfield Farm. And, well, there's a tractor in my way. Guess I had some plans. We shall deal with those plans as soon as we've dealt with the sheep, I guess.
Which one go out?
Okay. Not doing very well with the fork adjustments. I think I've got my fork adjustments on too high. That might help. Okay. I'll drive out forwards because it happens to be a little bit easier. I don't even know what I've got. Oh, come on. Wow. Strange. Okay. Okay, we're running liquid fertilizer. Put that out of the way. And then we can feed the hay to the sheeps. Probably feed the dog on the way back. This weight's a little bit light for two bales. Very light for two bales. Oh, that's a lot of leftover. Let's have a look at that. I guess there's enough room for cleaning up the feed area. Although with this many sheep it's a losing battle. Where's my bucket gone? Where is my bucket? Huh. Okay, I lost my bucket. Buckets on the fence. Okay.
You kicked me out of a one last.
Okay. Okay. Settled there. I think the Fed has the bucket, which is round the corner here. Yes. Oops. Okay, so once we've dealt with the sheep, I've got to figure out what I'm doing with the sprayer. I think I'm taking that up to the top two fields and just finishing off the fertilization. Dude, hush. Right here. Good morning, Hail Team, and welcome to Saturday. Come on, tractor. There we go. And with this one, I actually have to drive round. It messes the backside, but it feeds from this side. Okay. Looks like there's still more at the back, so we'll go get the rest. Don't know why I didn't pick that up. Oh, there's all sugar beets. We will have to deal with those later in the stream. And that's why it's difficult, because the ground isn't level. Tricky to pick up what's on the ground.
Why is he getting a glass, Daddy?
Because the sheep are unhappy.
But it's sweet because it's hungry.
And they're hungry, so we're going to feed them.
Where is
No, we need more.
Not right now.
When this can go outside, Daddy.
My mum gets up. Not until.
Daddy says after Mommy gets up.
Okay, so that's sheep things.
I think we should just start.
Where are the sheep?
Just start.
All up there.
When did you feed them?
We just did.
Let's go and get some more food for them.
They're full up.
What else should we do?
I have to take my tractor and put it away.
Why?
Because put the tractor away.
And what else?
Then we have to go out in the silver tractor.
Why?
Because the silver tractor is silver. And I left it out for a reason. So there must be a job I need done with it. Oops. Too much. There we go. So, that tractor's done with.
Oh no, he's in it.
There we go. Here.
Doggy.
What?
Hi, doggy.
What?
Doggy and why are you Doggy not in a tractor with you?
Because he's hungry. He needs food.
When did he come with you?
Well, he can't come with me.
Why?
Because he's guarding the farm. Bad people come round, he can bite them. What do you think about that?
That's why he's staying home.
That's why he was staying home, yeah.
When did you put him?
Huh?
When did you put Doggy?
He just stays at the home.
Why?
Okay.
I think it
Now,
has
I
a
think
It does.
this one and this one, this is why we're here.
This one left.
Okay.
Knew it.
Last fertilization for this one. Oakfield 46, welcome to the stream and thanks for the cheers. And welcome to Saturday. So we are coming up to the end of the year, functional end of the year. It's late fall last day. Tomorrow is winter. And I have a chance to fertilize 2 fields before winter happens.
What in there?
Nothing. Oh. Okay, let's get this thing unfolded. Oh man. Failure to germinate in the middle of the field. That sucks. Oh. No, that's okay.
No, he's saying I was sus of you.
Well, sudden this is really slow. So yeah, for those of you new to seasons, if the seeds fail to germinate, which can be due to lack of water in the ground, you end up with a patch like that. So nothing is going to grow in that location this year, which is quite big. And this is our only field of this particular cereal crop we're planting this year. That's not too big a deal, but you know, there's still the rest of the year where crops could die, at which point they go into a harvested state or wilt
Where's
state.
going, Daddy?
And if that happens, we lose more of our production. Huh?
Need that tractor with you.
Yeah.
Those on seats. There are only one more seat in there.
Yeah.
There's one more seat in there for me.
Yes.
Okay. Let me sit
Oh,
in
this
it.
is so slow. But on this farm, I'm not using solid fertilizer. Most of it is oilseed radish before I plant the crop, and then digestate. And we have weeds on the field. Could buy a weeder, just a small one. So on the whole, not a disaster, but we did lose that patch.
Gay. Gay.
Oh, we have a good amount of money too.
Gay. You don't care. What?
Anyway, I missed a little bit, but no worries. Indeed, yes. We are former foster parents, so every couple of weekends we have the foster kids over to visit, or former foster kids over to visit. They've been back with their mum now for a couple of years, I think. Okay, so you'll notice there's a couple of patches of this field which aren't fertilising. And that's because last year we got failure to grow in those patches. So immediately behind the tractor right there. Last year we either had a failure to germinate or a failure to mature. So those bits of the field are already at 100% fertilised. With seasons you get 3 stages. Keep the noise down! I think that bit there I failed to plant. So a little bit of a mistake. That's on me. We'll check the coverage map when I'm done. See how we did.
I think you're the
I hate wasting this much fertilizer for such small sections. So that bit there.
What is this button for?
Tell me if someone's in
I don't know.
What?
Okay, so the piece of ground I'm parked on now
Why you
is already fully fertilised because we didn't get a harvest from that section last year. If I look on this field now, oh, there's a little bit in front of me that didn't get done. I wonder if that's me missing it. Let's try that. So, bonus from seasons, you get 3 stages of fertilisation, so more yield. Penalties on seasons is you can get failure to germinate because the ground's not wet enough, or failure to mature because ground's not wet enough. And so, yeah, it kind of evens itself out. Also, weeds are not as pervasive as regular game. Regular game, you'll just get a pile of weeds coming down the field. In seasons, you just get patches of weeds. So you can either spot, treat them, or forget, ignore them. They're not as big a deal as having 100% of your field covered in weeds. Now, sometimes I will look at the level of weeds on a field, like maybe this one here. That's a lot of patches of weeds, and so I might say, you know what, let's dump some herbicide on the field and kill those weeds, because I really don't need them to be around if I can help it. Anyway, that's that field done. Doing anything with this because this is just the oilseed radish, which will provide us with a very cheap layer of fertilizer. Oilseed radish uses the smallest amount of seed of any of the crops, so it's way cheaper than fertilizer. What's that there? Where's that yellow? That's interesting.
Carl liked that. Carl was like
That looks like, I don't know. Strange. Okay, what I'm going to do here.
maybe he still knows the color.
Oh, excuse me.
He still knows the color.
I'll unfold this, and I think I may stick this on GPS initially. So,
We have corny.
well, actually, so that's a new animal set up. Each animal is tracked individually, so different weights. The 207s I've owned for a long time. The 166s are quite new. Animals have an age, 0.8 years mature, and it's pregnant. And so as we go through this, you'll see every single one of my sheep is breeding that's capable of. That one's not, but we got a couple of days through winter for it.
Like 20 seconds. Because
It looks like, okay, this sheep was born last year, so it's not fertile. The male sheep are obviously not fertile because they don't have babies.
You said after this we need to do one imposter.
So we have, as I said, 203 sheep. I kind of expect to have about 350 by spring. That's how much food they eat for the year, and depending on how many
You bet.
depending on how many days you're playing for a year. So I'm playing a 6-day. I'm playing a 6-day season. So 4 seasons, 24 days in a year. That is divided by 24 as to how much they need per season game day. If you were playing a 24-day season, it would be less per day, but still the same amount for the entire year. If you play a 3-day season, it would be more per day, but the same amount for the entire year. So cleanliness is back up to 99, so that's good. We have fields. Sheep can live in this field, which is where we've started with them. Sorry, this field where we started with them. That's the cow pasture. I'm not using that. Then we have 2 auxiliary sheep fields down here. This one I own and this one I don't. Each field has 500 maximum, so as soon as I get next year, I'll leave 250 sheep in this field and I'll put all of the remainder in this one. So I'm maximising my breeding potential at that point. planting season. So we can plant all the way from the end of summer all the way through to the end of spring. Wheat, barley and oats and canola. Sunflowers can be planted through end of winter through end of spring. Soybeans and corn are a late plant, but you also have ground temperature. We can't plant cotton because the ground's too cold. We can't plant cotton anyway because the GI I'm using doesn't allow for cotton. Also doesn't allow for sugarcane. Not prototypical crops for the area, which is south-west England on the borders of Wales. Corn is not significant in the area either. I tend not to plant corn or soybeans. If I go here, it's telling me maximum temperature for the day is going to be about 16 degrees with doesn't tell me the ground temperature there. Drying potential is how easy it is to make hay. Wind speed, the higher the wind speed, the better the potential for drying can be. And when we're going to get rain. We are going to get rain on Tuesday, but it's going to be snow. But the further out we look, the less reliable this forecast is. So it's going to be sunny for the rest of today. It's probably going to be cloudy tomorrow. And it's fairly likely that there will be snow on Tuesday. Rain on Wednesday, sun on Thursday. Who knows, it could snow by then. This tells you frost resistance. So you'll see that seeds don't have a lot of resistance, but wheat, barley, oats and canola and oilseed radish have a very high resistance to frost. So the fact that I've planted those before, let's go back to the map, this field here is wheat, is highly resistant to frost. This is canola, highly resistant to frost. So hopefully we shouldn't lose too much crop during the winter. Now, if we go back to the other screen and look at, say, sunflowers is medium. Cotton has none. So if there is snow while you've got cotton growing or in the ground or ready to harvest, you're probably going to lose your cotton crop. Same with poplars, you're going to lose it if it snows before you harvest them. Sugarcane the same. But these high resistant crops have a good chance of surviving. Then you've got the drought resistance, which is water content below 12%, and seeds can't cope, which is where you get your failure to germinate, and then through the day, young crops, mature crops. And once we've done average selling price over the year at the moment, I think I've got wheat in the bins. We're waiting until day 3 of winter before we get to sell those. Similar with barley, similar. Oats is the day after. Canola is tomorrow. I don't think I've got any canola. Sunflowers is not until spring. The other thing we do have is sugar beets, which is over day 3 and 4 of winter. So that's when I'm planning to sell all my sugar beets, and we have a ton of that. So worker's doing okay. I'm going to let the worker work this field and then we'll fill in the bits he doesn't do, because this tree here is a pain in the butt. So he's done the bottom bit of the field, but he's not done all of the top of the field at the moment. We can probably check that on the map now. So you see he's gone down there, he's hit the edge. He turned around and started there, went back to there, and then decided, oh, I'm fertilising too much of this. So he turned around and went back. Now he's going all the way up the field. And he'll do the rest of this. And then we're going to have to go all the way around the outside to patch up and do this top section. But that's just workers for you. You can't use, with seasons, you can't use workers on herbicide, because as we've seen, the patches of weeds are so sparse, the worker would start and do that bit and then say, "There's no more weeds, I'm done." So weeding is a manual job. As I said, we got 5. Oh, there's crop rotation. That was the other thing that you have in seasons. So I figured out if you do oats, then sugar beets, you'll get a good yield of sugar beets. But you don't get a good yield. This is your yield bonus. After sugar beets, barley sucks. And I've also tried with what's the other one? Canola. Canola, you get a good. Oh, you do get a good. But following sugar beets from canola, you don't get good. So it looks like what I'm planning. I'm actually doing sunflowers. I do oats, sugar beets, sunflowers. Then we'd go back to, say, wheat, and then canola, and then sugar beets. I think that's how. You want to do sugar beets after canola? No, we do sugar beets there. But anyway, it's setting up a cycle that works and gets the best percentage. Now you can leave a field fallow, which is nothing growing, and that will then mean the thing that follows the fallow usually comes out with a very good percentage, and it's the only good time you can get soybeans at a more than 100% yield. If you follow soybeans with anything else, the best you get is 95. So my general rotation is a cereal, wheat, barley, oats. You can do corn, but I tend not to. Followed by either sunflower or canola, followed by a cereal, followed by oilseed. That's what it's called. So cereal, oilseed is a good cycle. Or cereal, root, oilseed, cereal, oilseed. So you can switch from cereal, oilseed, alternating years. If I feel I've got too high a percentage of my fields are cereal, I'll put in a root crop in one of the fields, and that'll switch it so that alternate year differs. Anyway, how is our thing doing?
Just press X.